May ni somni pali sang ni somni paruk ane. Tunay hianin Cuba sorkar chu United States. Nena indo turin ay inbuatsaih mek ti report a omtat mayani. Heti lahi kan riak ang kanron soizaw main til pakhatril du cheu kan ya chu. Tunay hianin kum sang ni somni paruk sang ni somni pasari atan MVM Educational Institution Hmar College a sanga heng admission hi hon mekani elite health science pharmacy course computer le IT course management business course paramedical physiotherapy hospitality le program chi sang he an campus ate hi Bangalore Karnataka an oma MVM Educational Institution Hmar College sang hianin heng course te yazir thayani unaw course sang zir du mun khata du thosi thian za ho course sang course inang lo zir du mun khata du thosi tan MVM Educational Institution waya college sang te hi ati chi don mm lo bel chiang ve wal helai phone number an ronda 86385 8218 a hianin zuk be ula zukol ula Mizo ina lo chang cheunga lo boi pui cheunga rin tlak mm chuan jes mara channel kal tangin kan hmuwa te khazun chuk tiang amo ale ati zong kha ania chuanin kan react chanang tuna.
Meantime, the communist regime in Cuba says it is preparing for war following this week's indictment by the US of Raul Castro.
Raul Castro hi United States lampang in thiam lo an chantira ni an thiam lo chantir tak a hi ka rekang ka tiama ro ka ti un lai khanin mundanga kala means zina chu bang chon ka react taleng poni se ka tianga thil United States le Cuba communist sarkar an ya Cuba te hoi ka tianga an inkar lema an that lo belle nuwa khanin Cuba te hituna chuanin United States te nena indo turin ma la mek ti hetiang hianin news an ron report ta rup mayane.
Cuba's deputy foreign minister is calling it a, quote, political action designed to lay the groundwork for an American invasion. And the Cuban government is reportedly handing out pamphlets to citizens.
He pa thiam lo an chanti rahi Cuba sarkar ngai dana chuan hetianga thiam lo an chanti rahi US sarkar ten nakina Cuba ram an ron be na tur atana enge he excuse chuan nam khatiang an ron be na chan tura tang khanin an lamang thei don ti Cuba sarkar chuan angai tle ni ti hian news in an ron reporta chu wang chuanin Cuba sarkar te hituna chuanin United States ten nakin lo ka mi ron be don Venezuela chunga po khatiang khanin action an ron la chu wang chuan kaini chunga po hianin an ron la mang ti kha an mani sarkar hianin an ring ni ina langa an lawin buat sai na sa hle tiang ang paper pamphlet kan ti ang chi te po hi Cuba sarkar te hianin an ma ni ram mi pui te hena an sim dara
titled Family Guide for Protection Against Military Aggression.
Family Guide for Protection Against Military Aggression. Chung tin te hena heng hetiang ang hi an pen hetiang ang lekha poi mo tuk himo chumi lekha ina information aken bera chu thu ken bera chu nakina sipai chakna phanga Cuba hi be ani huna engtin nge ma chung tin ten an lo lak ve thiang an mani lowin veng him turte mun him lama lowin thiar chuak turte khatiang khanin engtin nge man lo lak thiang ti ang instruction zong khat hemi hin a omani chu hetila hi Cuba sarkar hianin rammi puite hena lo sem ane.
The text warns that the US is threatening a military assault to, quote, annihilate the dream of Fidel Castro.
Fidel Castro ina mana tanga dream alone ve to kha United States hianin sipai chak na manga ron nuai bo an tumani ti in he
Secretary of State Marco Rubio says Cuba has consistently posed a threat to the United States.
Marco Rubio, Secretary of State tuna hianin India rama ronjin mekani Marco Rubio himo chuan kan soila konga Marco Rubio hi India rama ronjina Delhi kal direct lowin Kolkata kal phota Kolkata kal na missionary te omna atlo ani he hian soizu ya lo khop mai achan chu foreign na tanga heng organization NGO Christian Institute te angchi na poisa an don thei tura kha nakina hanin harsat na kha alla om thei don ni alla na wang hianin hetiang hian US lampang chuanin Marco Kolkata kal photla Christian missionary te mu photla chumhno Delhi la mai kal le don ni an ti ni na langa chu wang chuanin hethi la hi India media te chuanin an soizui du khop mai ni he kan thria central sarkara to sarkara sel mek chu BJP an nia chu tianga ni laya Marco Rubio tianga Kolkata ron kalma sapota anwa Delhi han kal lekha kha soizui a lo khopani chuan tunai hianin Marco Rubio a soi Cuba chungchanga soi chu Cuba hi United States tetan an hla omani ti top mai ani Marco Rubio hian mo
Cuba not only has weapons that they've acquired from Russia and China
Cuba de hianin ral thuam China le Russia tangin an neya
for the years but they also host Russia and Chinese intelligence presence.
Russia le China atangin intelligence khatiang hanin spy te poni mai the United States te ron spy turin khatiang te po kha Cuba rama hianin an omani ti in Marco Rubio chon tu na hian soyani
in their country not far from where we're standing right now. So Cuba has always posed a national security threat to the United States.
Cuba hi ama aram angorngor hi chu United States dan chona hlom lo ama ro chu anram shoi tu te chet dan le United States ina mel ma ngai hei China te Russia te ti mai ango I alowin elpui thin kong tam taka alowin elpui thin kha Cuba chon ina kom ngai tlet mai ni thian tha taka asiam tlet mai ni Venezuela ang khan chu wang chuanin United States chon in Venezuela president khati ang khanin anti thei te gan ria chu wang chuanin Cuba laka po hianin United States hin an du phat chuanin action an la lawang ti kha soi thei lawa hetili Cuba sarkar te hianin an lo hrichiang ve thok hat to viau ni na langa tin Cuba te po hian hetiang hi engtin nge an hre thei gan ti chuanin news tam takina puan le US lo che to dan baka Russia le China intelligence mo khang kha an rama hanin an om ve tlat maya kha tang te po hanin Cuba ram hianin keini na kan lo hriat ve thei lo thil poimo information sensitive deu te hi aruk te pon an lo hre ve thei ani.
They, by the way, have been one of the leading sponsors of terrorism in the entire region. We're not going to do humanitarian
hello po an support ani ati ani Marco Rubio hian mo
aid that falls into the hands of their military company that they have, and then they take that stuff and they sell it at the dollar stores and put the money in their pocket. That's not going to work that way.
Anram po hi an tran pui don lo ani a chan chu I Marco Rubio soidan ka hre thiam na chonin anram US in Cuba hi lo tran pui ta se Cuba chonin khatiang an tran pui na te kha sipai kuta alu tanga sipai te kha nin khang ang te kha a tran pain an zuar chhong le anga an zorna poisa te kha tikhanin an manin an nei lenga atia chu fan chonin Marco Rubio hi in United States sampo Cuba hi an tran pui don lo shim ting so hanin tu hanin aron soi ani.
Meantime, ICE agents in Miami say they detained the sister of a top Cuban military official who oversees a multi-billion-dollar military conglomerate running most of Cuba's economy.
ICE te hianin tuna hianin United States Cuba an sipai officer lian tak unaw nu farnu no hi United States ICE te hianin an man an reng mek ani hethile hi apoi modon a sensitive don achan chu tuna hianin Cuba le US in kar thalo Cuba sarkar chuanin tuna hianin United States te na indo tur khan ti kha inbuatsaih mega ni lo pan tiang so te pan han soila Cuba chuanin United States ina aron be alawa chu wan chon alo inbuatsaih te potila a dik ve ve a kha chu media te na narrative an set du dan hani to maya ke ni na kan lo hre tur chu neutral de chuan US in adu pha chonin Cuba hi sipai chakna mangin avala theya Cuba chuanin chu hria in tuna hianin United States te na khatianga thil rigrum thila po an mani lo in ven theina tur khan man lo la ve mek thawani neutral de chuan ani chuanin tuna hianin ICE agent te ho hianin Cuba an military officer unaw nu US an manane.
Let's bring in now Rick De La Torre, former CIA chief of station in Caracas, Venezuela, and Mike Gonzalez, senior fellow at the Heritage Institute. Gonzalez moved, by the way, to the United States from Cuba when he was 12. Gentlemen, great to have you here.
Hepai Venezuela mek he Cuba tanga tuna US ni turani.
Let me start with you, Rick. It seems inevitable, given the statements by President Trump and others in the administration, that change is coming. How quickly do you expect that to happen?
Donald Trump ate thusoi atanga langchiang de uchu le Donald Trump ate panan soina sa chu wan sonin aron thlen thoi rin noma chuta Trump athu soi jong kan ti sonin tuna hianin Cuba rama hianin thil danglam kan hudon no change is happening, change is gonna happen engemoni thil danglam tak at hengdon ani Cuba rama hian kha chu achiang kha engtianga rangin nge ron thlenang.
I expect it to be relatively soon. Look, what we're seeing is this is the most aggressive.
Hepa hi Rick De La Torre, former CIA Caracas chief of station ani hepa mo don so CIA ten kung ka inan neya to china hepa ina soidan sonin Trump hian in action alak du vat ka ringa ni ron tiani.
U.S. posture towards Cuba in years. The indictment of Raul Castro over the Brothers of the Rescue murders is not just symbolic. It is Washington signaling that time no longer guarantees immunity for regime elites. But the bigger shift is strategic. Cuba is no longer being treated as a Cold War relic or just some sort of migration issue off our coast. The administration is framing Havana as part of a hostile network tied to China, Russia, or
chiang so to view hepai na ron so hi fi thakop mai hepai na soidan bera chonin tuna chonin United States se hian in Cuba atanga dan kala US ron lut khatianga Cuba han soisel ang mai khan du to lowa tuna chonin Cuba hi chu United States ramta na poi thei tur thil China le Russia te ne na in kung kai na thuk tak nei anga Trump administration te chuan in an nga ya khatiang zong khanin thuan thedar da sato ani ama anga Cold War hun la ya I rampa hi I technology anga han in elang mai mai khanin US in Cuba hi atri du to lawa chu ai chuan in tu na hian in Cuba hi United States ram mel ma ang hian in media vela a chuan sa to chu man chuan in hetiang thela ni hi chuan in Trump te hian in action unlock vat ring ani imponi se tu news atanga he video atanga langchiang em chu Trump hian tika mal chuan in Cuba laka hian in action ala down te hi chiang ani Cuba hian an shloka chu wang chuan in an lo in buat sai na sa tu na hian an in buat sai na sa an ram mi pui thlengin thilti dan turte instruction te khanin lekha te an sem ani tuna hianin Iran nen hian hanla in rem siam chia lo ma se an in rem siam hununa chuanin Trump te po hianin khodang te po a hoi ve thei to inari noma khodang hoi thei huna chuanin Cuba te po a target ma satur ani lawang ti kha a soi thei lo ani ti zong kha tun trumata na kan han siam thei chu ni se video la kan in hule theu do nia